Welcome back. Welcome back to Sunday Night Teacher Talk, where if you had beamed in 5 seconds earlier, you would have seen us looking at each other's teeth to see if there were chia seeds in there. And with that,
I'm telling you, chia seeds are the worst for that reason.
They're horrible.
But
Let's move on with our lives. Welcome, everyone. It's Sunday, and it's a full Sunday. The Eagles play in 25 minutes, so I'm not thinking about that right now. And to be honest, you don't have to watch that much football. It's so much football that
I like watching football.
I don't need it. But I would like to share with people before we jump into questions here is I bought this. You can't see this if you're listening to the podcast. I bought this little astronaut guy that I got at Walmart for $20. So tomorrow I'm doing an activity in class where we're going to tell spooky stories that we wrote last week. The presentation component of that, I could just have kids read them, but the presentation component of that is going to be, I bought this little tent at Walmart it was on sale clearance for $20. Like one of those little canvas, like kid tents, only like, I don't know, it's probably 4 feet high. No one can get in it, but that's not the point. I am building a campfire today with a $17 fire thing I got on Amazon. So I'm going to get like some rocks, put them in. I should have brought it in here. I didn't really think of that part. I was too busy thinking about this astronaut. So it's like, I'm going to build a fire with real wood in my class, not an actual fire, like a fake real fire, and then have my tent. And then I'm going to use this little guy to shoot stars up on the ceiling. And it's really good. You should have seen it in here. The kids came in. They were just like, this is awesome.
You really could have did it in here. There's blackout curtains. You could have tested it right
now. No, the computer. So we have a monitor over here. No one can see. The computers. I mean, you can still see it, but it's just like not as banging as it would be otherwise. So yeah. And the beautiful thing of things like spending money on stuff like this is I can reuse this a bunch of times during the year. So like whatever, like there's different projects, different nights that parents are coming in. Like there's like a bunch of different resources. One of the places I'd love to get to is to collect stuff like this. And what if like your school had it somewhere that you could just like borrow stuff? So they had it looked like the gun room from John Wick, but with ridiculousness in it. That would be awesome.
If you had a closet in your classroom, that's what it would be full of.
It would. Carefully organized madness.
Nothing actually relevant to teaching.
Not anything
directly.
Or seemingly relevant. Yes. My wife. So, yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about tomorrow. And then, or actually that's going to happen on Tuesday. And then.
Oh, let me tell you a comment. Colt just commented and said, I've been reading Teacher Class Off.
Yes.
I bought a bubble machine. I've been using it during passing periods. And the first day students commented on how magical it was.
Yes.
I love it.
Now, I will say the one piece of advice I got about that from an admin that I didn't really care for, that was actually useful, was it makes the floor slippery. So you got to just be careful.
Yes, because your old school had, at least in your classroom, had carpet.
Yeah.
And that made such a huge difference. Like, could you imagine doing it where you are now? And it's all that like polished, is it polished concrete?
No.
Laminate?
Oh, it's concrete in my classroom, but it's VCT tile, like vinyl tile in the hallway.
It would be incredibly slippery.
Yes.
So that's a thing to watch out for.
Yeah.
But they are magical. Bubbles are magical. Yes. Awesome, Colt. I'm glad it's like brought some joy and
good
fun.
Work, man.
Okay, you ready for your first question?
Hit it.
It's speaking of chia seeds, circling back around. John says, would you mind sharing what you eat / drink in a typical day of teaching?
Yes. So, John, first of all, I got your email on Friday. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday party, so we spent all day setting up for that. So you'll get an email back from me soon. I just want you to know that I saw it, and I'm glad it worked out. I only saw like the title, so I'm assuming it worked out. In a typical day, if mostly this is what I do. I will fast. I'll drink coffee first thing in the morning. I'll have a size cup of coffee like this. I'll do like 1.5, maybe 2. That second one I really sip on but I don't always finish it.
The day you do like 4 cups of coffee, it feels like.
Well, I didn't get to the later part of the day yet. I'm just talking about the morning.
Sorry.
So excuse my wife. I'm trying to cook.
I'm jumping ahead.
I do a 1.5 cups or so of coffee. I fast until right now. In the summer, it was 11 or later. Right now, it's like 10, 10:30 maybe, which I eat eggs, the super expensive eggs with potato, hash browns, and a bunch of peppers and onions and spinach and filthy mushrooms in there. And I'm not a mushroom fan. They are I don't know.
All right, what do you eat for lunch?
Anyway, for lunch, I usually do a smoothie with just vegetables and fruit in it. It comes in these little pre-packed things I get from Costco.
With almond milk.
Milk, and creatine and protein in it, and then whatever vegetable-laden dinner that we have. And then that's it. And then
so his snack is usually like we eat like macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts.
Yeah, I eat Brazil nuts every day, but that's because I have to. Now, those ones aren't tasty.
Well, because they used to be salted. Now they're unsalted, and so we eat them because we're both low in whatever
selenium.
Yeah, selenium. But snack-wise, we don't really eat a lot of snacks. I have a protein bar that I buy. They're called IQ bars, which are really good. They're the only ones that I found that actually like will fill you up because it has enough fiber in it with the protein. So that also reduces your carbohydrates. And then I do another called Bearded Bros. It's like a protein bar that has chia seeds in it, and
it gets stuck in your teeth. And
there's no refined sugars. It's just sweetened with dates and like almond butter or peanut butter. So those are really good. Those are kind of like our household snacks. Like nobody really eats. We do a lot of siete if we do chips or anything like that.
Yeah, but we don't even do all that anymore.
That.
And I do ice cream at night usually. I'm on an ice cream kick right now. I'm trying to get off of it.
And dinner is just something gluten-free or dairy-free,
but not joy-free.
No, they're all really delicious.
All right.
So
there you go.
That's what we eat.
Next.
Well, that's what you eat.
Hey, try not to cut me off this week too, all right?
Yeah. All right. Mallory is asking, with all the violence and hatred running rampant in the news, it's been a rough week in the classroom. Oh, I thought that was
a question. I can speak to that.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, hit the next one and see what's
so her actual question is, how do you handle students who obsess over perfection when it comes to their work? I teach middle school art, and there is always an issue. I try to stress process over product, but some students get so upset when their art is not amazing.
You know, Mallory, one of the things I think is interesting here is that if you're going to be an artist in the world, you have to, what Seth Godin calls, you have to learn to ship. So like you have to ship the product. You can't sit on it forever. I have literally never done a deal for a brand and got it to exactly where I would have gotten it to, because there's a shipment date. And I think that positive constraints around activities can be really good. So, you know, I mentioned this guy in my book, but Phil Hansen, Hansen, I think. I don't think he uploads YouTube videos anymore, but he has one of the best TED Talks I've ever seen called Embrace the Shake. I would, you know, it's fairly long. I don't know what your students' like attention span is, but like the second half of it, when, you know, you could probably summarize the beginning of it and then show the second half of it where he starts talking about all the different art he made with limitations, limitations on purpose. Some of those were time, some of those were materials, some of those were, you know, there's all different kinds of like versions of this that he does. But he found that too much time and too many materials started paralyzing his decision-making process. Sorry, I got something caught in my throat there. So he uses the power of constraints to push himself. I think that might be the first place that I would start with students. And also talking about the practicality of, look, in life, if you want to be, I think, all that God has for you, you have to realize that being creative is a part of that. Now, I don't care what you do, right? You could literally work for Lowe's, you could be a teacher, you could be a trash person, you could be like literally anything. If you are exercising creativity in that, you're going to have a better experience. but that creativity always comes with limitations. The world, you don't have all the time in the world to do anything. So it is about pushing yourself. So class isn't about just producing something that's beautiful. Do that at home. This is about pushing you with positive constraints, with boundaries, to try and execute and see what you can get done in that set amount of time. Now, if they need more time than that, you got to scale down your project, is what I would think, so that's not so insane. I know both of our children do this. They both love art, and they'll undertake. Brody undertook something yesterday that was like, bro, I don't even know if we have time for this, but he just made it this far more complicated thing. Even his story from my class, his spooky story, he goes, yeah, I'm not done. I go, bro, I'm telling you right now, as my son, I will give you a 0, and I will not allow you to turn it in late. So like, if that's the case for everybody else in class, you got to have it done. But he made this super long story, and I'm like,
sometimes you overcomplicate things.
So yeah,
that's. But I also want to say that I think I would talk about perfection is an illusion. It's like not real. Like everything can always be improved, and this is coming from someone who is a perfectionist. Yes. Like I love things done with like a level of excellence, and if I and look, my excellence might be different than somebody else's. Like depending on what we're talking about, but like I love things done with excellence. So I'll work on things for like 20 hours straight. Like I can ignore all other aspects of my life and keep working on it. But I had to, even my own health. Like yesterday I was busy doing birthday party stuff, and I was just like so focused and lasered in. I didn't even take my supplements yesterday. Like, and that's a big deal for me. It might be, that's kind of silly. It sounds like to someone else.
I feel a difference when I don't take those.
Yeah. And I've had to learn through like multiple people talking about perfectionism. There's like no such thing as it really, because like where's the end ever?
It's fear manifest, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're just being afraid
to ship
to ship.
And so you've talked a lot about that with me. Of like, nope, you have to have an endpoint, and you have to be, it's like good enough to ship. And I think it's important to talk to kids about that too. Yeah. Because perfectionism can really like, it can really cut you off, like, or not do anything because of the perfectionism also.
I know that we're going to answer Catherine's question next, but I do want to real quick speak to the violence issue, even though Mallory didn't ask about it. I had a really interesting moment this week in school. So we've had 2 school shootings. If my math is correct, 2 school shootings within the last several weeks. So the one at the Catholic school, and then the one the other day. And then this gentleman got shot the other day, right, at a rally or while talking at a college. I often get asked, this is why I'm bringing this up, because I get asked about this fairly regularly. So I just want to kind of put it out there. I get asked often if I talk to my students about those sorts of things. And my answer is always yes, but it doesn't start when the bad thing happens. This is part of the reason that I put so much emphasis on building relationships, because when kids come in after something horrific happens. So like my students at my school were like deeply impacted by all 3 incidents, but specifically, so the school one for a different reason, but I'm blanking on his name.
Stay off of social.
I'm blanking on the guys. I'm so sorry.
Everybody knows what his name is.
But this gentleman who got shot, my kids were affected by that. I went into school, and a kid asked me, Mr. Reynolds, what do you think about what happened yesterday? And we talked about it. And I said, we should talk about this in class. And he just looked at me like, he was like, what? I go, oh, well, has someone else already spoken to you about it? Like, have the class already like had their moment with it? Like, maybe not. And he goes, and the look I got was like why would anyone ever talk about that? And I'm not trying to speak ill on anyone in my school. This kid had a conversation with one of the teachers in school that he's close to, and that meant something to him. But as a class, no one had spoken to it. So when I went into class, I just, I think in those moments, I know schools have all different views on this sort of thing, but my view is you go in and you just ask kids, how did that make you feel? What are you thinking today? And then just giving them space And this is your moment to really facilitate a conversation and not dictate a conversation. This is your moment to really give kids space to really have a conversation and think and talk and share about something. Because a lot of like tough stuff came up when we were talking, and we worked through some of that. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I have no like the schooling in this, but I just know what it's like to listen. And what I find though is that, that came early this year, but what I don't think I could have even had that conversation if I didn't start building relationships 4 weeks ago when school began. So it's really being mindful of that and being mindful of those relationships, because then these are the moments when they really come in handy, because you can talk about difficult stuff that not everyone else can talk about with the students because they haven't taken the time to do such things. So
also a reminder to protect your peace, right? Especially if you're dealing with this stuff. Like I couldn't even go on social at all because my whole feed was like that. And right, like there's only so much I'm like aware of what's happening in the world, but I'm not getting in every nitty gritty like thing, because it's not good for my mental health.
No.
And so if you're already having to deal with this like in school and then your own curiosity, it's like protect yourself with like how much you like let that wash over you.
Because, even at the gym.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Right? It was like on multiple televisions. You
can't get away from it. So I think it's important to protect yourself.
Sorry, go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, Catherine is asking, hey CJ, I just got a classroom of my own.
Yes.
But I'm having trouble finding furniture and decorations that look authentic and will fit within my budget. Yep. Any ideas for a student-centered classroom? My budget is around $250, and I'm going for a Barnes and Noble dark academia cozy feel.
Yes, all right.
Thanks for your help.
First of all, Catherine, I would say
I love that feel.
Go to if you can paint changes everything. If you can't paint, peel and stick wallpaper does not ruin your wall, and that is great too. Third choice, I would say any craft store has bulletin board paper that doesn't look like it's just for bulletin board. So they have like brick and stuff like that. You could use that as well. Those would be my top 3 choices for like wall transformation. The second thing is focus on an area instead of getting a bunch of stuff and putting it sporadically throughout. So I'd rather have a classic, typical classroom with desks and a whiteboard and all that stuff with like a focal wall than to spread my stuff out all over the place. It like brings almost like a gravity, like it draws your eye to that place. And make sure it's a wall that is more often seen. So I wouldn't want to do that and it's like behind everyone and no one ever looks behind them and then it's just waste. Like you get to see it when you're teaching, but like where do I want students' focus to be? The other thing is Facebook Marketplace is my favorite place in the world. Haggle on Facebook Marketplace. Never pay face value. Just see what people will do. I often tell people that I'm a teacher, and I think that gets me better deals sometimes. Other than that, thrift stores are good, but you got to watch that they're not selling, and I'm going to air quote here, even though I don't like them, antiques. Antiques cost a lot of money. Thrift stores are basically old crap. What's the difference? What we call them. So there's no actual difference in them. So I like Goodwill. I can get good stuff there. And I like my big table that I have in my classroom. I just refinished that. My side table, I refinished it. I'm about to make a side table for the other side, which I didn't tell you about yet. That I'm going to do. Remember the time I made one for the house and I just put I screwed a whole bunch of books together and then put a wooden top. Cost me $5 for the wood on top and then nothing for the books because I get them from the we don't want these anyway section of the library. Then I would say my other piece is
what's the place? It's not Goodwill. They're only open Restore.
The Restore. Habitat for Humanity's Restore. Look that up if you have one in your neighborhood. They sell things for crazy cheap.
We found a huge, beautiful like armoire that needed a little bit of love, but it was all wood. Yeah. It was so beautiful, and we wanted it so badly, but there's literally no wall space or anywhere to put it.
Because I mean there is technically. But I have it already planned out for stuff. Like we're going to do stuff. So the other thing is go to Home Depot or Lowe's, tell them what you do and ask them if they'd be willing to donate stuff. Or if they have any what they call oops paint, and they will often give you stuff for free. I was actually driving home today. Brody was holding my drill in the car, and he goes, "Where'd you get you've had this drill forever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got it for free from Home Depot." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, told him the story. And he was like, "They did that?" I'm like, "Yeah, they have a budget set aside to gift things." That's one. And then the last one, Catherine, do it. Have a donor's choose, right? You just never know when someone's going to, especially with all the madness going on in the world. I have found that, especially in times that are particularly, I'm not saying to like try and make a buck off of tragedy, but like people are looking for ways to give. And what you're doing is not just having like the Catherine Metcalf, like super cool classroom. You're creating a safe space for students that they want to show up to, they want to learn, they want to be there. And so by creating opportunities like that, and I'm guilty of not having these things as well, right? Like I don't have an Amazon wish list that's particularly good right now, and I need to, because what you want is to create opportunities for people to give that don't want to give to a church. They don't want to give to a charity, but they're like, oh, here's a teacher that needs a couch. Bet I got you. And I think that is, you're creating opportunities for people to be a blessing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, Catherine's up next with the next question.
Hit it.
This is for the group out there. So if you're listening and you want to throw a comment, and she would appreciate
Let's do this. Everyone need pay attention. Get your eyes on front, eyes on me. Thank you. Go ahead.
Does anyone feel like they have trouble not working past contract time? If you are able to do so, I would love some tips.
I always do, but I'll tell you this, Catherine. So we were setting up for my daughter's birthday party yesterday. My wife loves birthdays, so all birthday parties take an enormous amount of time to set up for.
I'm really trying. When they were little, they did. I really am trying to get better. This one took
a long time yesterday.
This one, I did do more crafting in this.
It took a long time yesterday. If I wasn't there, all I was going to work on was school stuff. I'm building this campfire. I have these lockers that I'm rehabbing that are taking up my whole garage. I want to go down to my school, and I got some new stuff like lights for my shelves and stuff that I showed in this week's video on YouTube. I want to get all that stuff hooked up. The thing is, I like doing it. Like, I'm working on vocab slides before this today, and I'm cracking myself up from my pictures that I put in my vocab slides. And so to me, it's not, if it's throwing off, look, if you're not spending time with your spouse, if you're not spending time with your kids, if you're not taking care of your health, if you're not exercising, you're just eating Papa John's every night because like you don't want to make dinner because you're just working, all that has repercussions on your real life. But if I'm not stealing time from something else and it's life-giving to me to do what I'm doing, then I'm going to do it. Like, it's almost similar to me in some regard to when I was younger and someone would say, yeah, don't listen to that song too many times. Then you're going to not like it anymore. And you know what? I should have listened to that song as many times as I want. I should have listened to Beat It over and over and over and over and over again on my LP, on my record player, and just did it because I liked it. And what I found is that as I've gotten older, I'll find another new song that I'm going to like. But I am of the mindset that like work-life balance is a myth, because in the myth where we can figure it all out and it never moves, it's like perfectly balanced. And that's never true. Some weeks, yesterday, I gave a lot of time and energy to my kids and my family, right? So today I'm going a little bit heavier on work. And then, this week I might want to touch base with friends. Like, it's all different all the time. But what I want to make sure is that it's all plates spinning. There's 7 different plates spinning in my life at any given time. I just want to make sure none of them fall off. That's what I'm looking for.
Well said.
What you got?
Tristan, I see your comment. He said, have you seen the new hype feature on YouTube? It's supposed to help small creators, but audiences don't seem to be that familiar with it. Have we seen this?
I've not seen it.
Oh, awesome. Pay attention.
I'm on like this YouTube email list for creators. So like they usually send me but they send a lot of emails. So I don't always.
They do. I started reading them.
And a lot of them are for like, when it comes to this like because you're part of this group, you get to go to a free screening of this movie. And I'm like, but I don't live in Los Angeles. Let me know if you guys come to New Mexico.
Okay.
Number one.
Jay Clark is asking,
Hit
my
it.
colleagues and I are dealing with some problematic behavior from male students, the 16 to 18-year-olds. Sexist views.
They're being
Sexist.
sexist. Yeah.
Sorry. With that's all that's going on socially, politically in the UK and US. How do you handle?
To me, I've had this happen quite a few times, right? So a lot of toxic masculinity. And I'm not saying masculinity is toxic. I'm just saying that this version of it was. I've dealt with, especially during like the Me Too movement, during like all the stuff that was going on with Bill Cosby, because Bill Cosby's from Philly. So I think it hit even a little bit more there. And there's just constantly been something in the news where these sorts of things come up. And I think that one, like I said before, it has to start before that. We're creating these bonds because once kids trust you, they will allow your thoughts and opinions to come in. They will listen to you different. And if you think about when you were growing up, if you had a family member that you didn't really like, you didn't have that connection with, and they try to give you life advice, I'm not really listening to, bro, I don't even know you, Uncle Tony. You come over like every Thanksgiving when you're not in jail. And like, I'm not saying that was my life. That was Uncle Tom. But you're listening to, I would listen to my Aunt Kath because she was always there for me. And I would listen to anything she had to say. Like I always, even if we didn't see eye to eye, I'd always listen to her opinion and I respected her because that bond was built. And so when you build those bonds, it just changes things. I think the other thing is, in our experience, we would break students. So when we had this, I say it was a crisis to some degree, right? Where a large volume of students were like being very out of pocket with a lot of this conversation, hitting on teachers. It got to a crazy point. When this happened, the decision was made that we had a new principal. He tried to have this like a assembly with all the boys and basically like tried to school them. And I thought it did not work. It was horrific. And then we made the decision to have this in smaller classrooms, but only led by teachers that had built trust. Like if you felt like you had built trust with students, you can enter into these conversations. And I guess if you felt like comfortable to do it too, because not everyone is like, they don't know how to have, like they signed up to do math, not to have uncomfortable conversations. So I found that worked really well. Breaking into small groups, having individuals come in and talk about stuff, facilitating conversations, not dictating them, not making it into a big auditorium where we're like going to yell at kids and school them. And then constantly having not heavier conversations, but just meaningful conversations. I think it's not like you're going to just talk about like death and suicide and the horrors of the world every day, but like, are we talking about real stuff? Like, how are you feeling? How are you showing up to school? And then being inquisitive when you talk to young people about this stuff. I think that's probably one of the most important things is if someone says something you don't agree with, instead of being appalled, and, I had a conversation with a kid and it was like, we were talking about rape culture and this kid says, well, she deserved it. And now she just wants his money. And instead of me going, don't you ever say that? Like, you can, like, how do you know what she deserves? Blah, blah. Like, instead of talking like that, I'm instead saying, that's really interesting that you would say that. Can you tell me more about how you came to that conclusion or why you think that, or how you could come up with that idea? So you're entering in with curiosity because that helps kids to like, okay, I'm showing you that I'm really going to listen to you. I don't agree with you for 4 seconds. Like what you're saying is preposterous, but I can go into it with curiosity, because sometimes that helps me to see where a kid's belief began, and then we can speak to that a little bit too. And yeah, so that's the very short version of how I do that.
Okay. Maisha's asking, how's your classroom pumpkin?
Classroom pumpkin is getting a little leaky on the bottom, and I need to get some wax paper or parchment paper to put underneath of it.
Do you think it's gonna last? And what are you gonna do if it starts like getting like gnats in your room?
It's gonna have to go. You can't do gnats. Can't do bugs in the classroom. We already have too many flies around here from these freaking dairies and stuff. There's like 9,000 flies. So the pumpkin's good. I'm planning on decorating sometime this week. So here's fun fact. Back east, Maisha, I'm sure you have this because you're on East Coast. We decorated our home with,
well, not our whole home,
but outside
like,
with corn stalks.
Feature, right?
Every year, right? Every year we had lived in a row home. So on either our columns on the patio, flanking the windows, we'd have like corn stalks and hay bales and pumpkins and stuff. When I tell you that not only does no one do corn stalks here, they don't even sell them anywhere. So yesterday, my boy Leighton, he was in here now talking to everybody. Leighton said, I'm putting you on, Leighton. Leighton, you need to come on and be on Sunday Night Teacher Talk. You should just come on next week. Leighton's going to be in a YouTube video this week so everyone can see what he's like. He's delightful. And Leighton's family farms. So I say, yo, do you know where we can get some corn stalks around here? And he goes, are you sort of like beating around the bush asking me like if I can get you corn stalks? And I said, no, I'm a grown up, man. Like I thought you'd be in the know, but like all you corn people are talking to one another about corn. Like, where's it being sold at? And he goes, well, why would you want corn stalks? And I said, well, for decoration. For what? I said, for the fall. And he goes, do you want corn on them? I said,
do you want the leaves on them? It was a whole conversation.
Or do you just want the stick? And I thought, what in the heck is going on, man? Like, dude, everybody uses corn stalks on the East Coast. I'm like, is that an only East Coast thing that I'm missing out on? Or is it just like not a New Mexico thing? So it was hilarious. And he goes, just go. So somebody else in the back goes, I think it was Lily, goes, just go take some from someone's field. And I go, no, that's stealing. And Leighton goes, no one's going to care if you take 4 corn stalks out of their field. And I thought, oh, really? And it was just like this.
I want about 8.
He goes, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get some for you. And I thought, this is the most hilarious conversation.
We might be the only people in our town that has corn stalks.
I guess when you have corn,
fall decor,
you're like, no, why would?
And this is the outside thing. It's not an inside, right?
It's such a city thing to be like, let's bring a little bit of the country.
I guess.
And they're like, why would you do that?
I think I realized. I tried to look for some. I think the first fall that we were here, because it's such a simple way to like connect what we used to do, right? To being here as moving, and we moved in the end of September. And yeah, I think like nobody has any anywhere, or nobody really does fall decorations.
They don't even do hay really here. They have.
Well, they don't even pumpkins. Really. Yeah, nobody does hay, but you can go to the Big R and buy some, or you can go to Tractor Supply and buy hay.
All over there, Tractor Supply.
But that's like their normal stock because people use it for other things.
It is hilarious, man.
It's just
so weird. I'm going to decorate the outside of my door. That's like this little inset for every seat for every holiday. Season. Halloween, spring, fall, winter, Christmas, Groundhog's Day, all the different stuff, Cereal Day.
So we need some. So we actually need. Are you going to put corn stalks there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one will be inside.
It will be a mystery.
But not at our house.
No, I'm going to get some for the front door. He said he's just going to hook it up.
Okay. Thanks, Leighton.
It's like when I asked him about cow manure one day, and he just looked
at
me
like, or a cow skull.
Yeah.
You now have a skull.
I go, where can I get one of these? He goes, well, why do you want it? Like, I just have cow skulls. Like, there's like they own cows. He's like, there's just poop everywhere. Like, why would you go pay for poop somewhere like at the store?
Okay, Rachel says that we live in rural Texas and they have corn stalks everywhere. Right, just as farming or as like fall decor? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't understand. See, all right, so it's not just like not a rural thing. Like well,
wait, it might just be mean we have corn stalks everywhere, as in like it's we just have lots of fields of corn, right? I think there's lots of fields of corn here, so nobody thinks to use them as a fall harvest decor, which is so funny to me. They are beautiful. Okay, Linda's asking, my 5th year of teaching, and I still feel like I haven't gotten the hang of lesson planning. When does it become more efficient? FYI, teaching year 2 AP pre-calc, year 1 algebra 2, and year 1 at a new school.
So, Linda, 1, it's at a new school. 2, I think I'm trying to think of like.
Well, I have a question. Is lesson planning for math much like more different than English? Like,
to some degree, certainly, because you're not. Yes, but I would argue that by my 2nd year, I felt like I really had lesson planning down. And
are you showing off?
No, but I think for the reason for that is, 1, it was building relationships. So I was teaching students and not teaching content. 2, I liked making things fun. So that made me want to lesson plan. Like, I enjoyed the process because I was making fun stuff. And 3, I'm so repetitive in my day. It's like journal, vocab, activity, closing activity, the end. It's same 4 things like every single day in class, that I just run that play. But then it's, how do you run that play, right? So that's like saying, like, we're going to play, I could play the 4 same songs every day, but like, how am I going to play that song can be so different from day to day to day. Or like, I'm going to play the same 4 chords every day. How am I going to do it? So to me, Linda, it's sort of the question, the bigger question there is like, what do you want? What are you trying to achieve that you're not finding success with already? So if you could put that in the chat, I'm going to keep an eye out for it. So like, your lesson planning, but like, you say you're not finding success with it, but what is leading you to think that? That's what I'm wondering. Are you going to the mall later?
All right. So Rachel said it's fall decor. They have corn stalks everywhere. I think we could start a new business in Clovis, Leighton. We could start a new business together in Clovis that just sells. I
already have a business plan for
you have a business plan for everything.
But I've told Leighton we need to go to the farm
tours
and have a tour. People can pet your cows. Then I got Nate at school, who was almost in a video this week. Nate has miniature cows, and they had babies, and they're even more miniature than regular baby cows. It's adorable. Yeah, man, there's a real business here, especially because not everyone from New Mexico, like most of the people from our neighborhood aren't from this neighborhood.
No, they're transplants.
They're transplants because of the military. So there's so many folks from the military. It's like, yeah. And you know what else they don't have here? Like go pumpkin picking and stuff like that. They have that one spot on the edge of town that's like charge you $30 to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a whole corn mazes, hay mazes, pumpkins. Come on, man.
Why? Leighton just said I'm collecting cereal boxes. For what?
For Cereal Day. We're going to celebrate National Cereal Day.
Oh, is there a national day for that?
Yes, of course there is. There's a national day for everything.
Do you know when it is?
It's on my calendar. I forget what day it is.
You tell everybody.
It's like in the spring.
Okay.
We're talking about some really deep stuff right now.
I know. So Tracy said, to help Linda, she said, I think the issue with math lesson planning is unlike ELA. Math is new skills and content daily, weekly. Most skills and content in ELA is taught by grade.
Taught by grade 5. So they're done.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Just the rigor.
It's the how to read is done, but now you're gonna like, what are you doing with the reading you're doing? Yeah.
And you can't really move on. Like if your class isn't grasping something, I imagine that like adjusts your lesson planning. There's a lot of flow in lesson planning. Yeah. I'll look out and see if
Tracy Pinder, it's worth mentioning. I've been enjoying your posts about what vinyl you're listening to when you put them on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen this. But she'll be like, Yeah, she just puts on like what jam she's listening to.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah, it's been fun.
John, thanks for your super chat.
Thanks, man.
And his question is, there are a lot of options for PD out there. What do you bring to the table of PD that differentiates you from others? No joke, asking for a friend.
So I think it's what I get back from people. What I try to provide and what I hear back from folks is that what I try to do when I do professional development is this is for teachers by teachers. I'm not talking about theory. I'm not talking about perfect circumstances. One of the things it gets under my skin. I don't really like when I let things get under my skin, but I'm gonna make a video about it soon. Is I keep getting asked how big my classes are lately. And then when I tell people, it's like, oh, it must be nice to have like such small classes.
I think they're just seeing that from videos and like your desks in there, and they then leave those comments about like, oh, it must be nice.
What folks don't realize is that for longer than most people have been teaching, I taught 32 kids in a class. I taught in a really tough neighborhood. I taught at schools where I had up to 95% turnover per year and still found success. And when folks ask those sorts of things, it aggravates me because what I think they're really doing is giving themselves an out to not have to do the work. They think no one finds success at my school. And I think it's nonsense, because if somebody can do it, anybody can do it. And so what I try to do with professional development is really bring like activities, thoughts, excitement that is grounded in rooted in practices that I've actually done. Nothing I talk about is theory, and everything I talk about, by and large, can be implemented tomorrow. Like you walk into school tomorrow and you're going to start doing this stuff. And I guarantee if you run the play that I tell you, and not the whole thing, if you run parts of the play that I tell you, you're going to have better classroom management, better student engagement, better classroom relationships, better culture and climate in your school. It will change the way that your school is. And so that's what I'm trying to bring when I do professional development.
And I love that there are lots of different pieces in your professional development that are interactive and not just you yapping to somebody.
But interactive, but not icebreakery. It's like you might have to stand up, but you rarely have to interact with each other.
Yes.
Well, that's not true. I do have a couple, but like I don't
but
like.
They're not.
They're not games.
Yeah.
They're like it's like real. It's like I do in class. Like I don't do icebreakers. I do like let's get to know each other, because then life is better.
Okay, let's circle back to Linda's question, because she responded and said, I think it's because there are so many resources. You asked like what area. Yeah. She said, I think it's because there are so many resources available that I'm looking for the best one.
I think just now, Tracy, you might be able to speak to this better, but this is a problem for all teachers. It is.
That would be my problem.
There's so much stuff. You're trying to get the best one, and what you're doing is losing because you're focusing on that. So let me lay it out like this. If you're trying to get healthy and you're starting from zero, right? Like you don't like the way your body looks. You don't like the way your body feels. You don't like, you have a history of that. You're eating poorly. You don't exercise. One of the things that stops you from shipping, that stops you from moving forward, is paralysis over analysis.
Yes.
You constantly are looking, what's the right diet? What's the right exercise? How much should I be doing? Bro, just start, right? This is what I tell people that are on like a health journey. Here's 4 things that if you do these, you will see an improvement in how you feel. I don't even care about your weight loss, right? That comes as a byproduct. You will feel better, which is going to help you to live better. But if you look at whether it's keto or the carnivore diet or paleo, drinking green juice, like whatever it is, they all work. They all start working, right? Is whether there's all these different workouts that you could do. Just doing them is going to work. So just pick one. And then what I need to do is ask myself, how are my students going to access this the best? So I would just pick one, and then because here's what happens, Linda. I had this the other day. I had a mentee. One of my mentees has been sending me lessons. So before we do a call, they'll send me a lesson. of here's the scripted curriculum that my school wants me to teach this week. I'm having a really hard time making this something fun. They send it to me, and then one of my areas of giftedness is to take just about anything and I can make it fun. It's something I've done my whole life. I've never had a job that I've not, except for Taco Bell, that I had when I was 15. It was the worst job I ever had. But I've made every other job fun to some degree. It is my giftedness, as I said. So I say that because I think it doesn't matter which one you're teaching, as long as you remember that you're teaching kids and not the curriculum. So that's where my go-to goes. Now, what I might do is you find a curriculum, you run it through ChatGPT, and then the thing about ChatGPT is there's this concept called engineer prompting or prompt engineering, where you have to ask it the right question. You can't say just make this fun. It's if I'm running a play and I put a lesson plan into ChatGPT, I might ask it something like, for me, so I'm starting the Odyssey on Wednesday. I'm starting the Odyssey. This is me talking to ChatGPT because I do voice to text. I'm starting a lesson on the Odyssey on Wednesday. I need an activity as a hook to open my activity with. I want to do this in the spirit of Dave Burgess, who wrote Teach Like a Pirate. What can I do with a very conservative budget or with things I can just find around the school or in my classroom that is going to make this exciting for students that are 10th grade to 11th grade. Side note, my students are quote unquote cool. So they don't always want to do everything because they're too nonchalant. So I can't make it too wacky. Like, we're not going to dress up like pirates or something like that. But I do want it to be immersive and exciting, engaging, and unexpected. What would you come up with for this? That's my whole post. So you can see the difference between my whole prompt. So you can see the difference between, hey, I'm starting the Odyssey on Wednesday. How can I kick this off, right? Give me a lesson plan to start the Odyssey with on Wednesday. That's a much different prompt. Mine was like 10 times longer easily. It's telling who your students are, telling what levels they're on, telling what they get hung up on, telling that they have short attention spans, telling what you usually see problems with. I see problems when we go through the hook, and then I teach this thing and it goes well for this long and then it stops being well. Give it the whole thing and see what it comes up with. And that right there, that is worth its weight in gold. Learning how to engineer a correct prompt for your class. And so I'm working on a workshop now. We're going to teach people how to do this on a super deep level. And I'm going to give you some of my best prompts, but that's a workshop we're working on right now on how to use ChatGPT. I'm actually waiting for ChatGPT to get back to me before I move on with the next step of this. So you'll hear about that soon. Trey said I use Magic School Bus. Conmigo is another one too. That's a good one to find some lesson plans. But you can also prompt engineer that too, because what they're doing on those platforms.
Is that a wrapped?
No, I don't know what their AI engine is, but Conmigo uses ChatGPT. So they basically built a thing that uses ChatGPT as like their
engine.
That's the AI that runs that.
Yeah. Okay, Jacob is up next asking, what is your opinion on teachers getting fired on leave for comments online, especially about current events? One of my coworkers might be facing this situation. Because they made a comment on something?
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
go ahead.
You're sassy. I am, because I'm like, no, that's on my own time. And it's freedom of speech. I get that there's some level of accountability. You don't want to go saying that you're going to something super dramatic that could hurt and harm other people, and you're a teacher, right? There's a boundary line on that, but where's their boundary line? How clear is it?
Well, I think one, is it in your contract? So is something about your being on social media and your presence on social media is it in your contract? Like it or not, I think that we serve the public. And I'm wondering, right? I don't have a direct answer for this, but here's some of what my thoughts that come around this is like,
there's a lot of nuance.
If there's
in
a
this.
parent at the school that vehemently disagrees with my thoughts and feelings on something, and they go to the school, am I going to get fired? Like if I work with predominantly, let's say this, right? Like it's just, I'm just making this up, but like if I work with a large population of Hispanic students and I'm constantly making pro-ICE conversation online or posts online, there might be parents that have cause for concern because I'm not weighing in on either side of that. But what I'm saying is that it is something to be mindful of. Now, I will say this, that Jacob, if I believe strongly in something enough, I mean, I want to be responsible, but in all things, when someone's, I would not be silenced because of school. That being said, right, that can get clipped right there. That being said, as teachers, I think we have a real responsibility to be examples for our students. So is what you're doing an example of how you would like your students to act? I've seen the way people act online. I've been out, like I have been pummeled on Twitter before, which is why I don't go on Twitter anymore. I think it's like the worst place on the internet next to Reddit. But Reddit actually still has a little bit of use for me, but not Twitter. It is angry, hidden people trying, like often just hating. And I want to be mindful of, am I being a good example to my students? Am I representing my values and showing kids how to navigate that? I think oftentimes as teachers, we tell kids like, I say this example all the time, be nice and work hard, but then we're not willing to be nice and work hard. And being nice isn't just to the people next to you. It's in the car when that cuts you off. It's online when there's things going on and craziness. And so the same sort of facilitating and not dictating that I do in person, I want to make sure that I'm doing that online so that I'm not just putting someone on blast because they said some crazy comment. It's being mindful that my social footprint, my online footprint follows me forever. And I want kids to see someone not backing down from something they believe in, but navigating that space responsibly. And that can look like a lot of different things, right? My friend Shivy, if y'all follow Shivy Brooks online, my man doesn't hold his breath on anything for 5 seconds. Like he's got a shirt made the next day on what he's literally saying to his class and to his online community. So that's where I land with that.
John had a great comment. He said, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Right? You work for a school.
But I say that honest to God, Jacob, if I was sitting there with you, I knew what happened, I saw the comment, I'd have a little bit more of a direct response to that. But I know what I'm about. I know what I believe in. I know what I don't believe in. I have posted things before because it was like the trend. And I was like, oh gosh, if I don't do this, like this is maybe I get canceled. I've done that before. I'm just at a level in my life where, look, I'm just following Jesus and doing what he tells me to do. And if it gets me in trouble, so be it. Because what God's got for me, no one can take it from me. And that is where I'm trying to stay in line with for me. If that gets me in trouble, so be it. But it also keeps me humble. Hopefully it keeps me it just gives me something to measure against too. So yeah, we'll say that.
Christina is up next asking, teachers at my school are struggling with students not writing assignments in their planners. Parents feel out of the loop and Google Classroom use isn't consistent. Do you think it's worth teachers spending 5 minutes checking planners daily, or is there a better strategy you've seen?
So this is a great question.
55-minute classes, middle school grade 6 to 8.
As a
parent, I feel like we've tried multiple things, and I'm still trying to keep our kids organized. One is much better than the other. But at some point you have to let them figure that out and fail from it. Like even 6th to 8th grade, this is where the responsibility starts. Like, and it's saying like, I don't think you should check. I don't think parents should be asking you to check kids' assignment books. It should be parents reminding their children that like, you need to be responsible for the work, and these are tools and systems to help you stay organized, stay responsible. And it shouldn't be just writing it in the assignment book. That might not work for one, but it might work for another. That's a tool to use. There's many tools, but it's the parent's job to help the child navigate that, not another to-do list for the teacher. Maybe the teacher can say, hey, here's the homework, write it, a reminder, a gentle reminder, write it in your notebook, put a note in your computer, like in your Google Classroom, I don't know, whatever the tool may be, like a reminder. But a check, no, they're 6th to 8th grade and they need to start learning. It takes too much time. And they need responsibility. That's part of being an adult. Check your email, check things.
Is that time in class, so you know, if you have 25 students, let's say
I can imagine.
Students, what the heck is everyone else doing that you're going around and now they don't even know where their book is? It's like, it's in my bag. I think it's in my locker. Can I go to my locker real quick and get it? It's like
all the things. I know. I can imagine.
So what I have found is that one, I know people love paper planners. I think digital planners just work better. I think kids should live and die by their Google Calendar and everything should be in there. That's the rhythm we're building. Reminding kids, giving them time to do it. The end. If you want to write it in paper too, great. But like, it should be in your Google Calendar all the time. With that, what I've done for my son is on his iPhone and on his watch, I've set it up that his Google Calendar is his default calendar. So when he tells Siri to, that's your phone, all the devices are going to go nuts. If he says that S word, right, for his Apple device, you can tell it to remind me.
Add this to my calendar.
Add this to my calendar. I have a test in history on Friday in fourth period. So then it's in there, right? But he still doesn't do it all the time. I think there's learning by failing. I think there's learning by not doing it. Now, I will say one thing I'm thinking about doing this week is sending kids. Now, look, this won't work 100% either because nobody freaking checks their email ever at school. No student checks their email. It's sitting with students, and if they have a phone or a computer, have your notification pushes on for email. And then I am going to start making events like calendar invites to, hey, there's vocab quiz on Friday, calendar invite. So all they have to do is hit yes, it adds it to their calendar. Yeah. Paper due on Friday. So I'm going to start doing that, I think. But there's no one size fits all for this. What I would suggest doing is whatever you're doing, build the rhythm in class. I'm not responsible for it outside of that. Like, let parents be responsible. Let parents know I'm building this rhythm. Please check every night. Parents can go on their phone and set a reminder every night, 5 p.m. Remind me to check, Brody's Google Calendar, and then they should be doing it at that time, right? Right after dinner, set an alarm, whatever it is.
But it certainly shouldn't be another to-do for you as the teacher. No. At least that's my opinion.
And then when you have a kid that's falling behind, that's failing, that's still not doing this, those are the students that you have to come up with a one-on-one plan with, right? So like then that is a little bit of a different activity, but yeah. Sorry, that is aggravating. This seat is really hurting my buttocks this evening. I don't know what's going on here.
We need a better podcast situation.
Oh, these seats are great for podcast. Listen to that.
No, they're terrible. Okay, John, we'll do a couple more because we're at an hour, but we were a little late. John's asking me a question. If I had to become a teacher in a school, what would you most want to teach and what grade levels and why?
With me?
I don't want to be a teacher. No. gosh, I don't know. Some part of me loves little kids, like kinder first, like that kind of level. No, you don't think I could do it?
No.
Okay, about me, what do you
They
think?
would aggravate you because you would get mad at their parents for not like for stuff, or you'd get mad at the school.
I wouldn't get mad at the little ones. I'd get mad at
You would be
somebody.
an incredible principal.
Oh,
Your organization,
that is not what I
your
thought you would
focus
say.
on all things that like how things should be run. You're no nonsense. That way your neck does that thing sometimes and you get pissed off. Like you would be an incredibly supportive and wonderful, and you wouldn't let the program, the funding, nothing get in your way of doing what needs to get done. I think you
I
would
would find a way. Yeah.
or die trying, right? Like I know there's like when I talk to Mo, she's always trying to get stuff done, and it's like there's just no way to do it. I think but she'll like go down with the ship. You would shoot just right to administration.
I would honestly love to teach like a health and nutrition class. Like that would be like my favorite thing because it's a love and an interest of mine, right? I have and there's so much mystery wrapped up in that and misinformation and that sort of stuff. So
you would make every parent and all the lunch people hate you.
They probably would, but that is where I would love to teach. I'm not one. I definitely wouldn't do math, English. Wow. Like, yeah,
you just run stuff.
Yeah, I'm more of a runner.
That'd be awesome.
That's so funny. Thanks, John, for that question. Okay, so Matt is. Cool.
We got Matt and Jacob. We're going to get you.
There's probably more. There's 26 comments.
Oh, okay. I just saw
it. This week is parent-teacher conference. Any suggestions for a first-time teacher in regards to conferences?
Yes. So I think, all right, handful of things. One, make your classroom inviting. Be mindful of your lights. Be mindful of the smell. Be mindful of where you're meeting parents. Be mindful of some of your parents are going to be considerably larger than others, so don't make them sit in student desks, especially if you're teaching younger kids, right? It's
yes,
demoralizing. Have big people chairs and I don't mean big like they're big. I mean like adult chairs in there for an adult to sit in. Have something in your room in case someone brings little kids, like a little brother, sister, cousin, nephew, for them to do. Print out some coloring sheets. Have Legos are a little loud. I thought about doing those before. Could do Play-Doh, but kids want to take it with them. It could just be blank pieces of paper with brand new crayons and colored pencils, right? Don't give them your busted old crayons because no, those aren't exciting. And then always lead with, I'm glad you're here. I love teaching. I only want your kid to be successful. And then, because I know people do like those sandwich talks, like here's the nice thing, now I'm going to say the hard thing, now I'm going to say the nice thing. If you want to do that, do it. I think that's been done so many times. Parents see that coming. It's like, oh, you're saying a nice thing. Oh, here's the hard thing. And then it's like, you're just saying the nice thing so that you can say the hard thing. I'm letting you know from the jump that I love this and I love your kid and I want them to have all the success in the world. And so we're about to have the realest conversation ever. And I'm not just going to give you the bad news. Here's a big one, Matt. I'm not just laying it down for you because your kid's not pulling their weight in class. Here's the whole success menu of what they can do. Like when I'm available, when they can retake stuff, how much they can make up, what they can't make up, why I don't do extra credit. Like I'm laying out the whole plan for them. And then the final thing is print all that out for them. I don't want parents to have to sit there and talk to me and their little one is doing something they shouldn't be doing or trying to eat a crayon or some Play-Doh and they're trying to type this all up on their phone. Here's a one-sheeter. I'm going to walk you through it so you don't have to write anything down. Here's my contact information. Here's my hours. Here's when your kid can make up tests, take quizzes, eat lunch with me, check in with me. Like it's all on there. I make mine look like a diner menu because we're from Jersey. It's called the Menu to Success. And that's what I'm looking for. And I feel like setting up your classroom like that is setting up the experience because it's like Maya Angelou said, that people, you don't remember what people say, but you remember how they made you feel. What I'm hoping to do is have parents feel like I care for their kid in those moments and really, really get that sense about me.
All right, let's end on Jacob's question.
Yep.
Please give me tips on handling immature freshmen. I've never had a group more immature, feel like I'm teaching 5th grade and they are supposed to be honors.
So there's 2 ways to do this, Jacob, in my experience. And you're going to have, to me, you got to try and see which one works. One of those is I will handle it, but in a tongue-in-cheek way. Sometimes I joke back. Other days, I will say stuff like, I had a kid in class the other day who got up from a seat. This is a real story. And there was butt sweat on the seat, right? We're getting super real right now. There's butt sweat on the seat, and he tells the girl behind him, look how sweaty my butt was, or is. Mr. Rounds, I got a real sweaty butt right now. So I just stopped the class, and I'm going to call him Todd because I don't want to put his name out there. I stopped the class and I go, Todd, let's just take a moment. Todd, just so you know, I know you get a lot of teachers that say things like, in the real world, you're going to need to know algebra. You're going to need to know how to write an essay. In the real world, this is the realest thing you're ever going to hear, Todd, is that we don't talk about our butt sweat out loud unless you are with a doctor who specializes in that sort of thing. That it is not something that is going to help people gravitate towards you more or trust you more. And if you're saying it to other people that you're interested in, that's not going to make anyone want to date you. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to push people away. And then you're going to end up living in your mom's basement next to the Christmas decorations for the rest of your life. And it all comes down to that, man. It comes down to your uncanny ability to talk about butt sweat at a drop of a hat anywhere and everywhere you go. And I'm just looking out for future you. Understand? So like what I did is I acknowledged it. I made it so every time I do that, my answers are so long that kids just go, oh my gosh, you just ruined like the whole joke. But that's what I wanted to do, right? Or right, if I don't do that, I will just shut it down, right? I just end it and I will have a real conversation with kids, but I don't say that's inappropriate or something like that. I stop the class, I sit down with them. And then I go, listen, we're going to have a conversation about this, right? Because here's what's happening, right? So right now, everyone, you can't say, you know what number I'm going to say next. If I say 6, what am I going to say?
7.
So every single time someone says 6, 7, and everyone has to start yelling it, I go, listen, let's just chill for a minute. And I want you to understand something, that what we're trying to do here is learn. That my job is to help you be the best that you can possibly be in this subject matter this year. And to do that, a lot of this comes down to flow state and attention. And when you're in that flow state, you know what I'm saying, right? When you're playing video games and you're just vibing, you got mad, you got kills, your HP is high, like you're just cruising, getting challenges done. You're in the zone and your mom calls you for dinner. You don't want to go because you're in the flow state. In education, we're trying to get into that place. And part of that is your attention. Because where your energy flows, where your attention goes, your energy flows, right? So I want to try and get you like zoned in. But I want to tell you what happens, bro. When I say those 2 magic numbers and everyone yells it, now everyone's immediately out of flow state. Your attention's gone. And I'm going to tell you, some of you can jump right back in. But you have brothers and sisters in this class that cannot. You have people in this class who have a hard time focusing back in, that have a hard time hearing what's going on, that have a hard time paying attention. Man, they're holding on so tight, trying to pay attention, and you're stopping them. So the reason we're going to put the kibosh on this is not because it's the dumbest meme in the history of the world, yes, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm looking out for the education of everyone in this class. And by just yelling things out nonsensically in a class, it's just not going to happen in here without you getting in trouble moving forward. Why? Because this class isn't about you. It's about all of us. And so I want you to really consider that the next time you do something. And look, someone's going out like a sacrificial lamb. Someone's going to forget that I'm saying this. And when they say it, you're stepping out and we're going to have an issue with it because we've already had this conversation about it. Having real conversations with kids around that helps them to see that I'm not telling you to stop because I said so. I'm helping you to stop because I care about all of you, or I'm telling you to stop because I care about all of you and I want you all to win, and you're actively working against me, and that's never going to happen in here. So That's how I'm having that conversation. And it is a long one, but look, what did I say that in? Like a couple minutes. But then I, by and large, do not have that issue again. And if I do, I'm not having more conversations about it. This is like, yo, we're in the hallway and we're going to call your mom and we're going to have a conference and we're going to make a deal out of this, because you're just trying to be like blatantly disrespectful, bro. And that's not happening either. Cool.
Yeah.
With that, if you need help with classroom management, we have resources on the Shopify store. So just go to shopteacherclassoff.com and all that stuff's on there. If you're looking for speakers for your school, I'll tell you what, John Brossett's got me coming in. I'm going to speak to students in mass for the like 600 total kids almost for the first time in my life. And I am very excited about it. I'm interested. Like I can have these conversations one-on-one or with classes. Real conversations. What's it going to look like with 200 kids in a room? We will see. So if you're looking for that or for something similar, please let us know. If you need more attention, please just hit us up on the website and you can find out more about mentoring and stuff like that too. So anything else?
That's it. Have a great week.
Have an awesome week, guys. Peace.